There's a 92-year-old man who, during his lifetime, shook the hand of Queen Elizabeth when she was in Kenya, escaped torture during the colonial periods. This story will inspire you. Stay tuned. My name is Wilson Mining. I'm a student of life. I've worked with many organizations in health, IT, and marketing. I'm on a mission to travel 100 countries in 100 months. So join me to learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Safari Power.
This is a story about a uniform that saved my grandfather's life. Those words were enough to get me hooked to Wilson's retelling of his grandfather's brush with death, the Mau Mau uprising, in 1952.
Giờ đi chơi một cái này, còn này thì bát, nhà thì gom, nhà bí thì gom mà, nhà thì gom nha, gom mà đi nhà hết đến đây hết trong sân là đây, cái số tiền ra được, cái số qua đây, hey Bill, như là gì cái cô gì à, yeah, more questions. That's what people are looking for. You know, they take the one.
Hit the one. You go ira kahida.
They can't really up. That's the really lost. That is no second. You got to go for it. You got to go for it. Really. Nothing is going to really. You know, my life will run it up. God is here. Yes, yes, I'm what's the three. The map is okay among the Mahaya, motion, picnic, or foreman. What is your foreman? The head of that for how you want to know the money, you walk in. I don't matter all like this. What a nó có nào xin từ dương áo bị rắn một đôi là đào biết gì là như đã kể ra những cái này ngon kia quá xin dương quá xin từ dương là bị rắn
Increasing demand for self-rule in the early 50s gave a rise to initiations into the Mau Mau movement. Men across the country, mainly from the Kikuyu, Meru, and Embu groups, were recruited into the movement through secret oaths. One of the movement's goals was to start an armed rebellion against the colonizers to drive them out of the country and achieve self-governance and freedom for Kenyans. In retaliation, the imperial force announced a state of emergency from 1952 to 1960. During this period, Mau Mau attacks against the colonial government increased, and the British fought back by rounding up men whom they believed had taken the secret oath of initiation and placing them in interrogation camps. Official numbers lay the toll of people taken into the camps at 150,000 and the death toll of rebels from the warfare between the regime and the Mau Mau at 11,000. Wilson's grandfather, who is also named Wilson in accordance with tradition, worked as a foreman for the railways during the emergency period. He was issued with a notice to travel back to his hometown of Nyeri to be issued with his passport, but the truth was that the regime had begun a series of screening exercises to fish out Mau Mau rebels and sympathizers.
Lúc ra chơi mà cả đến nước kia việc qua vào mà tham mồi nó rồi thì nếu như điều nó cùng cái điều đạt được khi đấy nó ăn uống mát cái heo như gì không thì đấy là điều cái nên nó đi rồi nhìn xuống anh sẽ biết thôi đi ăn phải đi thôi cái nó cũngจะcó cái này nó có cái nát cái sấy mèo ăn này luôn
Nghe thầy quên. Liên tân này
số rồi mẹ anh phải có Rubia
Charles Rubia.
chú có cái gì Section đó kì
Điều gì? Cái cái này là real.
như vậy là cái gì như là đi ra khỏi cái gì như là mình có qua của đi đưa một cái khu đi làm việc và quan sĩ thì mỗi là mỗi mình quay cho cháu con đó nó cầm một rồi quay này hay nhá thì cái một khổ không thì thế đâu có một lần quan sĩ thì nhiều anh xem mấy rồi như này đi cái mấy rồi xíu quay không như này thì người này biết rồi điều cho nên để cho qua nếu mà cái này mà gì thế
Aboti sunat tutama Kenya uri. Where di ni dua hari ko anene mal tian Charles Rubia ari. Kuna mo samani you know.
cái xem mà nó nan nem để cái ona để
Tinya da.
mà xem mà nó ona ni cái mấy cái số cái cái con bảo con tôi nào
Dosti.
cái này
Ona jo.
ni
Di Queen Mother.
vì mà cái nào cái này mình làm cái tôi sẽ làm cái nhá tôi cậu sẽ làm cái nhá đi ý là như một đến đâm một cái ai cả đi là đi ngoài gái lại một ý là ở bên nào cũng không có người là phụ
Này đâu
này quá sao
Này vâng.
thì qua cái qua phụ cái đấy cái không phụ cái này quá sao
Thì
ok là cái ông người ta là cái ông người ta mà nói nghe rồi xóa là thì không có cái này mà cả ya điều mới qua một cái gì hao cái cái tôi làm mình nó mà muốn có bao giờ là tôi làm thì ra cái là cái nào cũng một cái gì đó quên mà là thì hạt một cái gì đó
The tragic news reached Princess Elizabeth and her husband while in Kenya, and the new queen left immediately for London.
In February 1952, Princess Elizabeth and her husband began a Commonwealth tour with a visit to Kenya. News of her father, King George VI's death reached the royal couple, and it was the duty of Prince Philip to break the news to his wife.
Her emotions, Queen Elizabeth II emerged.
And so, 5 days after arriving in Kenya, she left as a queen. More than a year later, her coronation took place in Westminster Abbey on June 2nd, 1953. The hotel where they stayed while in Kenya was burned down by the Mau Mau, a resistance movement against the British colonialists, but a new one was put up. It shut its doors last year due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. year earlier, on June the 1st, 1952, Kenya had attained internal self-rule, marking the end of the British colonial rule. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Kenya.
Gloves, you go. No, it's not the for you. Let's go come with here. Viene che stiamo lì, mo questo è come here mo ko. Come che io ne vai lì. Che vuole non ha niente, how you go qua con io vuole. Da che na torno. Gimuria. I very hammer on our one area Maria and the neck of the half water. The man and other one wow. The
Wilson Sr. was a trained first aid practitioner, a field he took a lot of pride in, and was awarded with a uniform by St. John's sometime before the emergency. Through an epiphany, he decided to wear the uniform as he traveled back to Nairobi because it looked remarkably like the uniform worn by the colonial government's officers at the time. When he reached the screening station and announced he was there to be interviewed, the officers on duty started laughing. They asked him if he had taken the oath to be a Mau Mau. He replied he had, and the officers laughed some more, thinking he was being funny. They let him go because he wore a uniform that was so similar to theirs. Wilson Sr. lost his sister, some friends, and his wife was detained for a short period during this time. He says the screening process was very intense for many people, and records show the atrocities that were often committed in the camps against suspected Mau Mau members. People were tortured, beaten, and killed. But Wilson Sr. was fortunate enough to survive unscathed.
uniform window. Now, the emergency. You know, I emergency to it. You did the emergency. I don't hear I was screening for the Marco or Gavile, who come here. Rob, you have a passport? What's this pass? Yes, I will. Pass. Yeah, you have fast. You come here? Why you come here? No, screening. Wakanya, he talks to me. I corner work on one with the mouse, one in number, the Moma. You Muma, and you will name. What can you only do with me? I do me. I go there, no, there, you see an idea. What run one at the sea and not and one other one. No, how much Yaku Bara, Yamoma? Yaku and Kuru, we are Kuru, really. No, you buy again, Daddy. You know what you hear, much in the bar, I think all that I will not keep up. Look at what the money, look how much you don't quite imagine, see, more night of them. One did I know, okay. You couldn't be a look at go get from you, Rosa. Never did yet carry that one. You ain't got his more. You got value come put it, no being over here. Come over close, cleaning, can you to move? And I flew around with you on one. That's why it is. Well, it isn't really what is here. I Maria, make a no 16 and 16. You know, being able to all you the Machio. You nearly. Era esame ada mati ko mati na dia mo. Maki goma holi. Ini red was like me na all ada ma na go ma holi le. Yeah, the man so ron ni mo de mo di ska. You make a young woman win. Okay. De ko goma holi le. De ka yu mo re sin no. You ni ada di ko la me ate de la ko go holi ma de ka. Okay. Hey, boss, matino, guarda solo, guarda che matino, che c'è molto modificati, che dico, io qua ho guarda, no? Io da qua a ricevere, era malo da me, io era ma così non mi piace, da me gioca con Mauri, ma che da con now, sì, devo sapere, non ho corridore, io, guarda là con Nairobi. We not even one year move, my darling. Nariri, ando tu geri, ando are matari na uniform milon. Make a what? Matari here, what is a mundo? Rubia might tell you a cool mundo. Rubia or I didn't marry a wolf. The Mahora. And the Massan, the Hora will not call you, no, your call from Maurina John and hey. You're near a dead carry deal. Who can have a video to cut it? What's your whole ball for ball? Now the I said number. This was the money I did not the idea movement on the other than I could from you. I think about what you okay. Not more, no more than you start the thing. Over now they didn't have the no more than you are going to come on it. Call it. Bring your why you plenty young ma ma c'è ma de io non mo de io non mo do e la vena va passi no ne giure io per come ha do okay direre tu che curiosity emotion direre we are you one to do an ma ho na ho ranire we magia reality you want to fight Leo, quando come Leo lì. Altro mattina, no ya. Io vado guardando una mera di no, che ma di una cosa nuova. Vino a Kenya lì. Io hado ma non che modo nuovo. Allora io ne ho me ama. Siamo non me come da lì. Non me cano. Non gli rimane ma che parliamenti ao. Ma mai tocca lì, ma e nariri, abbiamo visto, abbiamo ceneri. Quena ando poi mora giro mi maki horanira wian guarda agina ma si stare yakira wenagi wenagi ma se kai you get me ma stare ya na gire ni kana ai gire solo ra diga tu ati io mai se kai non che tu sai come sai molto guarda io qui io non wa che ha mi qua tua no io sono non bahati ya do ya come ya diga
As fate would have it, Wilson was not only able to escape torture from the colonial administrator thanks to the St. John uniform but also had the extraordinary opportunity of meeting Queen Elizabeth. As the day of Queen Elizabeth's arrival drew near, Wilson's anticipation reached its peak. It was his chance to leave an indelible mark on this historic occasion, an opportunity to showcase Kenya's craftsmanship and hospitality to the world. When the Queen finally stepped foot on Kenyan soil, Wilson's heart swelled with pride as he witnessed her delighted expression upon entering the bespoke royal cottage. Wilson is now 94 years old, living life with no regrets as he gave his all when his all was needed.
Jamba siaitana siaito Ekama timo Muro agero combo Jamba siaitana